What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video. A very anticipated video, I must say, because we've got the patch notes for Year 8 Season 1. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. There's going to be a lot, because as you can see, there is 2 sets of patch notes. One for Escalation and Prototype, and 2 for Retaliation, Modifiers, New Gear, and Weapons. We're going to start with the big stuff as far as I'm concerned, Escalation and Prototype. You can see that the build itself is 100 gig nowadays, 27 gig if you've already got the previous build. It's going to start tomorrow at 2 p.m. CET, which is 1 p.m. UK time, I believe, and it ends on Monday. A little bit longer, an extra few hours here and there. Got some new formatting here. So starting with Escalation. Escalation is a new way to replay main missions with increasing difficulty and rewards. It is designed as an endgame challenge for those who have completed the main campaign. Escalation missions follow a rotating schedule. Oh, that'll be good. So we'll kind of know when each and, our favourite ones will arrive, essentially. Only a selection of missions will be available at any given time, and this list will refresh periodically throughout the season. Before starting an Escalation run, you choose a tier that determines the difficulty. Each mission currently has 10 tiers, and the higher the tier, the more challenging it becomes. To start a run, you must spend the new currency called Escalation tokens. The cost increases with each tier. Completing the mission rewards additional tokens and materials, while failing the run means your tokens spent on that attempt are lost. How it works. You can now view the available Escalation missions from a dedicated menu in the base of operations next to the countdown vendor. From there, you can fast travel directly to the mission location, which we saw that yesterday in the live stream. Escalation runs themselves are configured and started from the panels located at the entrance for each mission. From these panels, you can select the tier you want to attempt, see how many Escalation tokens the run will cost, view the rewards for that tier, and check the mutators and modifiers that are active for that run. Escalation runs are single attempt challenges. Once the run starts, the mission must be completed in one go. There are no checkpoints, and if the group is wiped, the mission fails. You will need to start the run again and spend the tokens to attempt it for another time. Okay, so got to be very, very careful and ensure that you are good to go for that attempt. Each run also includes a mission timer. If the timer reaches 0 before the mission is completed, the run fails. So got to be careful with time as well. No AFKing. Difficulty increases with each tier. Higher tiers increase enemies' health, armor, and damage. Higher tiers are designed to be extremely challenging, even for players using highly optimized builds. We'll see. So we've got the mutators and modifiers, and it looks like they're going to give us the list of all of them. So some mutators affect specific enemy types, creating enemies with additional effects. Others are global mutators that affect all players. Mutators and difficulty scaled are tied to the tier. This means that every mission played on the same tier will use the same modifiers and difficulty settings. In future seasons, new mutators may be introduced, or existing ones may be rotated to change how Escalation missions play. So we've got Harvester. When dealing damage, the enemy regenerates armor and health by a percentage of your maximum armor, and they can overheal. Suppressor. When damaged, this enemy starts to charge an EMP blast. When fully charged, he unleashes it, disrupting everything in the area. Aid Specialist. This enemy periodically repairs the armor of all allies around him if they are badly damaged, so no letting them run away and get into cover. Anchor. This enemy has damage resistance for as long as he has any allies around him. Hotfoot. If you stay in the same spot for too long, a charge counter begins to fill. When it reaches maximum, you are shocked and take damage. That sounds horrible. And Unyielding. All enemies become immune to crowd control effects while significantly damaged. So yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. It'll be interesting to see how hard it is with all them thrown in, especially at the higher tiers. So solo, group play, and matchmaking. Escalation can be played solo or in a group. In a group, the party leader selects the tier, spends the escalation tokens, and launches the mission. Okay, so only the leader pays. If the run is successfully completed, the leader receives the main token reward. Everyone participating in the mission receives the standard mission rewards and materials, as well as a smaller amount of escalation tokens at the end of the run. To participate in escalation, agents must first unlock the feature by reaching level 40 and obtaining the SHD watch. So that's interesting. So everyone gets rewarded, which is pretty good. Escalation also supports matchmaking, which allows you to search for groups attempting the tier. Matchmaking is tied to the selected tier, not a specific mission. Once the mission has been launched, matchmaking is disabled, but others can still join through invite. Higher tiers increase both the difficulty of the mission and the rewards you can earn. These rewards include escalation tokens, progression materials, and resources used for expertise upgrades. Finally, another source of expertise upgrades. This is great. Escalation is also currently the primary source of prototype gear, with higher tiers increasing the chance for these items to drop. At the start of each season, escalation tokens are reset. So no stockpiling those tokens, essentially. Right. Prototype gear. Alright, so let's hope that this gets exciting. So prototype gear is a new item quality that sits above existing high-end, named, and gear sets. These items have stronger attribute values and will also feature augments, which provide an additional way to improve your build. Most gear items starting from high-end quality can be converted into prototype gear. Exotics are currently excluded, but they may be supported in future seasons. Prototype gear can be obtained in two main ways. Escalation runs, where prototype items have a chance to drop as loot, upgrading eligible high-end named or gear set items into prototype gear. Higher escalation tiers increase both drop rate chance and attribute rolls of prototype gear. Prototype attributes. So that's all fairly straightforward, right? I think there's nothing and no surprise there. So prototype gear features higher attribute ranges than standard high-end items. The previous maximum roll for an attribute becomes the minimum possible roll, and the maximum value can reach up to twice the original maximum. I think that's a mistake, because it did say, well, it didn't say, but when we looked at it yesterday, it was 1.5. It certainly wasn't 2, so I think maybe that's a mistake, unless they've changed it from what they showed us with Yannick's build yesterday. So that's interesting. So we'll wait and see tomorrow for the clarity on that. Items that drop directly as prototype gear roll their attributes randomly within this new range of values. So is the range minimum to maximum? So we know it's always going to be higher than our current highest, but is that the range? That it's a full range of twice the stat? That is a big, big range. Higher escalation tiers increase the likelihood of higher rolls. So yeah, it definitely does sound like it. So upgrading to prototype. You can convert your existing prototype gear, but it needs to meet specific requirements. The item must be level 40, have maximum expertise level, and all attributes must be fully optimized. Once these requirements are met, the item can be upgraded to its prototype version. Upgrading does not require any resources. Again, that is different than what we saw yesterday. When Yannick upgraded, it cost 1 of a new resource, which is, yeah, definitely interesting. So again, definitely one to test. One attribute is guaranteed to be maxed at the new prototype maximum. The others attributes remain at their previous maximum values. There is a chance for an additional attributes to also roll at the new prototype maximum. And that is basically what the new grind for this first section is anyway. There's definitely a 2-part grind to this in getting the piece to be absolutely max. Because of this, you may need to upgrade multiple versions of the same item to obtain the combination of attributes you want. So yeah, they're definitely expecting us to take a piece to 30 and roll it this way to hopefully get your max version. Once the item becomes prototype gear, it can no longer be optimized or recalibrated in any way. Because of this, you should finalize your gear piece or weapon before upgrading it. This includes recalibrating attributes or talents and fully optimizing before converting into its prototype version. So essentially, once you've converted, that is it. You get what you get. So essentially, re-rolling gun talents for various scenarios is now gone in this scenario. You're going to need multiple versions of said guns and things like that. So yeah, a few things to definitely watch out with the... So although, yes, you can become much more powerful with that piece, there are some serious limitations when it comes to doing that. So then we've got Augments, the other really big power-up that comes with prototype gear. Alright, so this is where it definitely gets even more juicy. So all prototype gear comes with a special effect called an Augment. They function similar to talents and provide additional bonuses. Not put my teeth back in. Unlike standard talents, augments are drawn from the shared pool and are not tied to a specific weapon or gear type, which I'm guessing means you can get any augment on any piece of gear or weapon. They're completely shared. Any prototype can roll with different augments from the same pool of effects. Yep, which is just what we thought. An augment can also level up as the item is used. As mentioned before, most aspects of prototype gear cannot be changed, but augments are the one exception. You can re-roll the augment to try and obtain a different one. After re-rolling, you can choose to keep the new augment or discard the change and keep the original one. All right, okay, that's pretty good. So you can go back. You're like, I'm not quite sure I want this one, but I definitely don't want that one. I'll stick with what I've got. That's a pretty nice system. I like that. Both re-rolling and leveling up augments require a new resource called prototype cores, with the cost increasing each time you re-roll or level up is performed. Yeah, so you use the item to max an XP type bar out, and then once that's maxed, you then need this new prototype core to upgrade it to a stronger version. And I believe Yannick said yesterday we could upgrade them 10 times. Prototype cores are currently obtained by dismantling prototype gear, making them a rare resource. That's interesting. That is definitely interesting. So getting that high level of escalation is going to be important for sure to be able to max these out. So the augment list. So we've got Quantum. Oh, this is nice. We didn't see all of these yesterday. So we've got Quantum, provides a small chance to become temporarily immune to damage. This bonus cannot refresh while active. Echo, each bullet fired has a chance to deal its damage a second time. That sounds really, really good, especially if you can stack it. And it looked like it could be around 11.5%. So times 7, 81 or something percent. That is, yeah, that sounds really, really good. Atomize increases the radius of grenades and increases the grenade radius and damage. Finally, like a proper nade multiplier. Not that I think anyone would roll it, but yeah, that is definitely interesting that we finally get something that increases nade damage. How do we say this one? Amaglam. Each bullet hit has a chance to apply a random status effect. It's like a St. Elmo's built into your gear. Trapper increases the duration of status effects you apply. That's pretty important as well. Entropy increases your health based on a percentage of your total armor. Don't know how that one would be useful. Need to think about that. Anomaly skills restore a portion of the damage they deal as healing. That's a bit like the gear set that we have in the game. built into the set already. Paradox provides a chance to refill part of your magazine while firing, turning what? Some guns into bullet kings. And then Synthesizer, bullets hit have a chance to slightly reduce cooldowns. Oh my, that could be crazy as well. Let me know what your favorite one is. I'm definitely liking the look of Echo and Quantum, but some of these other ones I think have, you know, extreme versatility. The reducing the skill cooldown sounds like that could be pretty crazy, to be perfectly honest, to the point of maybe broken. I don't know, but let me know what you think down below for that for sure. So okay, so let's move on to the second part of the patch notes, the modifiers, the gear, and the weapons. This is a big video for sure. Just one thing to note, just thinking about what I've just kind of read over last night in my Twitch stream and in my YouTube stream. I was lucky enough to have a couple of developers in the stream. One of them being Alex, the game director, and he did say that the damage increase was going to be 1.5. So maybe something's changed before this build was kind of put together, or these notes were kind of put together, or they kind of want to see what people's reaction is to double damage, maybe. So yeah, I would just take the double damage with a pinch of salt, or maybe they just thought it wasn't powerful enough. I don't know. It depends how tough that tier 10 really is, but I guess we'll see tomorrow. So let's look at the gear, because that is what we did not do. So we've got the, oh right, okay, Retaliation starting up first of all, actually. So Retaliation is getting a few updates in the upcoming season and a new gameplay focus around the Black Tusk. The Black Tusk, now I don't know how to say this word properly. I feel like I butcher it every time I say it, like most words that I butcher. But we're going to go with agitation. So the agitation meter fills in the same way as other factions by eliminating Black Tusk enemies and completing activities involving them. Additionally, their meter will also fill during other factions' retaliations, but at a slower rate. That's pretty cool, actually. Because that means you can kind of do your other ones knowing that eventually you'll stack up to a Black Tusk one afterwards as well. Black Tusk retaliations can only occur in Washington, DC and Warney. For the first time, Black Tusk can now also own control points in the open world. This only occurs as a result of losing a retaliation. They will not launch a resource convoys or other territory expansion activities. Defeated enemies can now also drop a new material called diamond transceivers, which are used for blueprints obtained from these retaliations. You may now come across a special Black Tusk maneuver objective, which grants additional time when completed. Cool. So it'll be interesting to see what these diamond transceivers allow us to buy and what blueprints they allow us to buy. I'm assuming it's these special raid ones that Yannick told us about yesterday. Now, we have got kill squads. So the Black Tusk will also have their own kill squads. Defeating them gives you a chance to obtain blueprints for several rare exotics, including Climax exclusives, as well as the Capacitor and Vindicator. So, okay, so that's the first time that these have been available outside of the Climaxes. Successfully completing the entire Retaliation event also gives a chance to obtain blueprints for certain Raid and Dark Zone exclusive exotics. Note, in the PTS stream, we originally mentioned that these would be dropped by the elite kill squads, but that information was outdated. Okay, so that's definitely important to spread that around, because that information definitely flew around as important yesterday, because we know that the stronger version of these kill squads, the BTSU Team 9, are season exclusive. They're only in this season. There are two types of, oh, there we go. There are two types of Black Tusk kill squad, the regular and the elite. The elite squad, known as the BTSU Team 9, is a rarer and more dangerous during the upcoming season. They will also have a chance to appear during retaliations of other factions, so keep an eye out and watch your back. Elite Black Tusk kill squads are a seasonal feature and will only be available during the duration of Year 8, Season 1. Then we've got the Agitation Overclock. This season, we are implementing a change to how the agitation meter behaves. Previously, once the meter had reached its maximum value, you could trigger a single retaliation before the meter was reset. With the Agitation Overclock, the meter now has multiple levels that now allow you to trigger the retaliation up to 3 times back to back. And that's like a circle within a circle within a circle with a number in between. Quality of life update. So we've got the updated timer. So now previously retaliation events expired after a set amount of real world time. The timer is now progressed based on in-game play time instead. Way better. Way better. The timer will also pause when you are participating in another retaliation. The time available to collect loot after completing a retaliation has been increased from 30 to 90 seconds. Way better. Much needed changes there. Matchmaking is now available, which is great. And it will pair you with those who are currently playing at the same global difficulty level. So that's important. Whatever your world tier is set on, that is going to be important. And then we've got modifiers. So let's see what we've got here. So, okay, so they don't actually list. I was going to say, if they're going to list all 34, I'm probably not going to go through it because that will be more important when we can physically see them. But let's see what they say. So the upcoming season will have a new modular system built around Recombient, the core seasonal modifier. It's experimental black tusk technology that lets you customize how the bonuses and abilities behave. And it looked really in-depth. So Recombinant is built around these 3 modules: offense, defense, and utility. When you first start the season, these modules are evenly balanced, meaning each one can provide you the same baseline value. As you progress, you can shift that balance by modifying the number of stacks assigned to each module. And we saw Yannick doing that yesterday by equipping the different minor attributes, and it kind of changed things around. Stacks determine the strength of the module's bonuses by upgrading active modifiers and equipping the passive modifiers. You can increase or redistribute these stacks. For example, you can focus heavily on offense for more damage, invest more into defense for more armor, or maintain a balanced mix. It's your pick. Active modifiers are tied to the Black Tusk technology. Each one corresponds to each one of the 3 modules: offense, defense, and utility. Each active modifier increases the strength of the global modifier by improving the base stack value of its corresponding module. Upgrading them can unlock additional effects and improve performance, which I guess is just using it, right? That's usually what we have to do to upgrade the active modifiers. You can then upgrade them by defeating enemies, while they are equipped. So these 3 active modifiers are available for the season. We've got Blackout Pulse, which releases an EMP pulse that disrupts enemy electronics and applies shock to enemies within range. Each level raises your base offense stacks, and at the highest level, the EMP will also pulse enemies hit by the blast. And I think we started at 10 and it leveled up to 20, I think, for the base stacks. We've then got Cloud Armor, creates a support field that regenerates armor for allies within range. Each level up raises your base defense stacks, and at the highest level, the cloud also blinds enemies inside it. I think this is going to be very popular. Optimize and Overload enhances skill performance by reducing cooldowns. Each level up raises your base utility stacks, and at the highest level, it also overcharges your skills for a short duration. So that's pretty interesting, to say the least. But yeah, how much skill are we going to be able to pour into our skill builds? Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So we've got the passive modifiers, where instead of providing an ability, the passive modifier adjusts the values and interactions of offense, defense, and utility stacks. This season has 34 different passives for you to pick from, and you can equip multiple at once. The order in which they are equipped matters, as each modifier is applied sequentially and affects the final value of the stack. So yeah, that's going to be crazy as well. You got to make sure you equip them in the right order. You can obtain passive modifiers in 2 ways as rewards from the seasonal journey by purchasing them from a vendor at the White House. And as you go into the White House on the left-hand side, there is a brand new vendor. To obtain them from the vendor, you'll need a new seasonal currency called BTSU firmware, earned through the seasonal journey and scouts. Oh, okay. So we should be able to get a decent chunk, you would imagine, from the seasonal journey right as the game goes live. Hostile countermeasures. Some of these sounded pretty harsh. Well, one of them did. So with each hit, enemies equipped with this modifier temporarily reducing stacks in all your module bonuses. The inversion field, enemies generate a polarity field that reverses the effects of your strongest module while you remain inside it. Eliminating these enemies grants temporary protection from polarity fields. And then defeating an enemy affected by this modifier temporarily disables one of your passive modifiers unless the enemy is defeated via a headshot. Enemies with these countermeasures will display the modifier icons above their heads, so you'll be able to easily identify them. And one of them said that it was deactivated for 10 seconds. Maybe it was this virus one, but it doesn't say it here. So maybe that's changed from the build that Yannick was using, but I guess we'll see tomorrow. This is so much stuff. We're 25 minutes in. This is absolutely insane. And then we've got the new gear as well. So starting off with the exotic mask. I love the little icon here. And I'm guessing with this one being the first one in the list, this is probably the one that's going to be locked behind the master mission. So we've got the investor exotic mask. Receive a bonus for each non-core attribute on this item, depending on the color. So you get 10% crit damage, 5% skill efficiency, and 1% armor regen. PvP, it's only 0.5 armor regen. This item can feature any core attribute. This item features a third random attribute instead of having a mod slot, but it cannot feature headshot, health, or skill repair. So that's going to be pretty crazy. You know, trying to farm this, you're going to have, you know, it might turn out to be that we just need to wait until the season after and get the blueprint, perhaps. But yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to get hold of multiple ones to kind of get the role that you want. Then we've got the whiplash, which I think will become kind of a reload meta. So it's a pistol. Having this weapon holstered for 5 seconds reloads and primes it. While primed, swapping to this weapon reloads your primary and secondary weapons and grants 20% rate of fire and 50% weapon damage until the magazine is emptied. Reloading or swapping away from this weapon before its magazine is emptied will remove the stat bonuses. But essentially, I think people with longer reload weapons like LMGs and shotguns will just switch to this and then switch back because it'll be quicker than actually just reloading. Then we've got the exotic F2000, which has the talent for, while this weapon is holstered, generate 50% less threat when shooting. Keep this weapon holstered for 10 seconds will prime it. While primed, swapping to this weapon grants 25% rate of fire, 30% weapon damage, but you generate 100% more threat when shooting for 20 seconds. And swapping away from it, of course, removes the talent. We've then got the new set, the Royal Works. I like these little icons that they've put here. We've got 5% weapon handling, 32.5% magazine size, very precise, and then 15% crit damage. I think the 3-piece bonus is pretty weak here. Usually 3-piece bonuses are much stronger, so it'll be interesting to see if I really don't see a world where we would, you know, spec into the 3-piece, potentially the 2-piece, but yeah, interesting to see how that works out. And then we get the named chest piece and backpack, the Robin and the Bulldog. The Robin having perfect Gunslinger. That's by swapping the weapons, give you 28% extra weapon damage for 5 seconds. And the backpack has perfect composure, which sadly is only 20%. And I kind of think that, you know, when we've got Vigilance and Unstoppable Force, especially Unstoppable Force's perfect version, that I could do with this being just a little bit higher. Then we've got the new gear set, Core Strength, which gives weapon handling by 10%, 5% weapon damage, armor, and skill efficiency for 2-piece. And then the 4-piece bonus unlocks a new talent. We've got 4... I feel like that's wrong, right? If this is the gear set, should it not be 2, 3, and 4? Maybe that's wrong. We'll check that tomorrow. But anyway... we've got the core exercise. For each core attribute, receive 40% of the other 2 core attribute bonuses. Skill tiers count as 1% skill efficiency when these attributes are applied. All pieces from this gear set, apart from the backpack, will feature random core attributes. And if we remember right, the backpack had all 3 core attributes, which is pretty crazy. We've got the chest talent, increases the percentage bonuses you receive from the other cores from 40 to 60. That's a lot. And then the backpack, this talent does not provide a direct change to the core exercise talent, which is a bit weird. We need to check what is that actually doing. That seems a bit odd. We've got the new named weapons and talents, perfect back and forth. So swapping grants 13% rate of fire and 12% damage for 10 seconds. Not so sure about that, but I guess we'll spec it out and try it out. Swapping from it gives you 5% rate of fire and 4.5% weapon damage. It doesn't sound powerful enough, but I guess we'll check it out. Receiving one of the bonuses will remove the previous one if it's still active, and 2 instances of this talent will not function at the same time. We've got the Trader ACR SS that has the perfect version, which looks like they've copy and pasted it, because it looks like it gives the same. Oh no, this is both perfect. So the AUG and the ACR get the perfect versions at 13, and then we get the regular one just a little bit less, actually, quite good, only 10%, so only 3% less. So I would kind of say this talent needs to be a little bit higher, but there's not a lot of difference between the perfect and the regular one, which is quite surprising. PTS test only. So Adam Shipley's inventory contains the caches as normal, so we can get all the blueprints, you can get materials, you can get maxed gear and things like that for testing. Prototype cores for testing and escalation tokens. So that is definitely good. And you can get maxed out prototype versions by the looks of it of Strikers and a Lexington and an Equalizer right off the rip. Pretty crazy. That is a huge PTS. As always, let me know what you think if you've stuck around for a full half-an-hour video. That's crazy. I look forward to seeing the comments down below. But as always, agents, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.